The Holy Spirit can't reach us, so unless you did something ridiculous like tear the roof off, you have to let us out. Tear the roof off? Great idea. Wait, no, that's not what I... American Steel. The Royal Navy. Spies and intelligence services. The entire force of the Commonwealth. Pissed off occupied countries. Operation Overlord. You have a lot of nerve coming to Cuba. CIA agents. You have a lot of nerve being alive. Prussia in media. Prussia in history. Campaign 72. I totally didn't tell my staff to infiltrate the DNC. Wink. We need guaranteed income for the poor. I am Adolf Hitler, commander of the Third Reich. Which message will resonate with voters? Catholic during Lent. Is this a fish? Sporus, a little boy, being taken as an empress of the Roman Empire because he looks like the late wife of the emperor. Also Sporus not long after. First Japanese embassy to Europe, 1582. You guys can touch my robes. Thank you. Philippe II kisses them on the cheeks. Thank you. Arrives back in Japan, 1590. The Europeans weren't savages and I think we should become Christian. No, you are all exiles now. It was better long ago. Complains modern man who imagines he would be a nobleman war hero, but most certainly would be a poor peasant conscript on the receiving end of a Gothic charge. US government health agencies, early 1980s. There's something new going around. It's probably some kind of virus. It looks like a human version of feline leukemia, and it's spreading like hepatitis B. There's still a lot we don't know. We need funding for epidemiology, virology, retrovirology, public health, probably Shrek's education, PPE for healthcare workers. Why should we care? Who is this disease affecting? Weird perverts. Filthy whores. Gross addicts. Okay, here's $100,000. Oh my God, we're going to need so much more than that. This is a pretty niche issue. People are already dying. These are young, previously healthy people. And these deaths are horrible. It's not really a threat to the mainstream population, is it? Soldiers in 11th November 1918 looking at their watches. Just 3 more minutes before they can leave those goddamn trenches. Soviets declaring to be anti-imperialist and hating imperialism. Also the Soviets. Daddy, not now, son. Daddy, not now, son. Dad, not now, son. Son. Yankee Doodle with his hat riding on a pony. U.S. aircraft carrier names then. USS Enterprise, USS Hornet, USS Midway, USS Essex. U.S. aircraft carrier names now. USS Gerald R. Ford. USS Ronald Reagan. USS George W. Bush. USS Harry S. Truman. Searching for best golf score in history and I don't see Kim Jong-il's score of 38 under par. Impossible. Perhaps the archives are incomplete. All of France resisted during World War II. Also in Berlin in 1945. Come on guys, we gotta defend the Führer's bunker. We don't have to face giant thanks to ancient Egyptians stood and fought against them. The primitive man. I have superior instincts to identify dangerous predators with just one glance. The modern man. If friend-shaped, then his friend. There has been no rain for a week or so. Aztecs. Russian history in a nutshell. Russian tsars and dictators. Welcome to hell, comrade. Russian civilians. I put you in charge of my army and you switched sides. And you made stew of my son and tricked me into eating it, so sorry for what my country did. Which war crimes? Vabbè, but Mussolini wasn't that bad before joining the alliance with Hitler. World War II. Ends. Hugo Boss. Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Romance of the Three Kingdoms set during the Three Kingdoms. Machiavelli according to his reputation. Machiavelli in real life. You could not live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me. So, my daughter tells me you're into history? Yes, I play Hearts of Iron 4. You have exactly 10 seconds to get the duck out of my house. Point of view. You performed My Way by Frank Sinatra at a Filipino karaoke bar since the late 90s. Oh boy, I hate seeing thousands of men shooting and killing each other every day on this war. I know. I'll create a weapon that can fire the same number of bullets as 1,000 men. That way, armies will only need to send a small amount of people to war. What is the worst that could happen? Look, we will give you $3 million if you stay quiet about the attempted bribe and release our agent. I will accept, and stay quiet if you instead give me $33 million in economic aid for Singapore. If there is ever another war in Europe, it will come out of some damned silly thing in the Balkans. Otto von Bismarck, 1815 to 1598. Serbs in 1914. Serbs in 1992. We out at Tsars. Hitler promoting Friedrich Paulus to Field Marshal during the Battle of Stalingrad. Paulus being completely surrounded by the Russians in the middle of winter with no supplies, knowing that no field marshal in the German army has ever been captured or surrendered. I, Spain's dictator Francisco Franco, have returned. I hate you. You killed anarchist Catalonia. Welcome back, Cordillo. Viva España. I wish a kind victory was named after me. Poof, done. But as payment, I'm taking an arm and a leg. What the duck, that wish cost me more than it was worth. It's a Pyrrhic wish. 1st century Northern Indians. It's alive. Frederick the Great. Wears gloves in the winter. Frederick William. So you have chosen death. Kim Il-sung, a totalitarian dictator, naming his country the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. What an odd thing to say. When I'm in a claiming to be the strongest warriors in Africa but begging for help in almost every war competition and my opponent is. Let's revoke the reinsurance treaty with Russia. Let's start a naval arms race with the British. Germany is surrounded by enemies. How did this happen? One of the great tragedies of history is that Martin van Nieuwenhof had a face born to wear an oversized Metallica t-shirt that smelled of weed, but it was forced to live in the 15th century. Brazilians studying history between 1898 and 1930. When you check your pocket and can't feel your colony. Sun Tzu explaining why marching with 100,000 soldiers is impractical. The Chinese noble who just wanted to show off his big army. Campaign 32. Henry Clay. Let's talk better mileage. Andrew Jackson. Kill the banks. Which message will resonate with voters? 1899. 1900. Look at that nerd Stalin LMAO. What a loser low. That's it. I'm creating Azerbaijan. French Army 1939 to 1940. The French army in World War II was plagued by internal issues, including an obsolete hierarchy, political infighting, and outdated tactics, which contributed to its rapid defeat in 1940. Italian Army 1940 to 1942. Yeah, no, it just sucked. It's just a tall peasant with a big axe. Destroys an army of 1,600 Englishmen with his peasant friends. Destroys every hostile army near his village. Manages to kill 5 men on his deathbed. Dies because the water he drank was too cold. Moral of the story, I don't know. Don't drink cold water. Hate Japan. Hate China. Hate South Korea. Hate USSR. Genius ancient general. Look inside. Faint retreat. This picture is 71 years old. Ancient Romans bought vials of gladiator sweat. In ancient Rome, wealthy women would buy vials of sweat and dirt scraped from the skin of famous gladiators and use it as a face cream. Mikhail Gorbachev becomes a general secretary 1985. Comrades, I know that our last 3 leaders were not perfect. That's why we decided to elect this young, handsome, and only 54 years old man named Mikhail Gorbachev. We now set out on our odyssey. What's an odyssey? A long journey named after the only survivor. Oh, okay, wait, what? This will inspire generations of artists to come. What the hell? The council recognizes your achievements but does not grant you the title of war chief. How you do this? It's unfair. Countries where the Prime Minister ducking shot and killed multiple people while cross-dressing. Pre-Hippocratic Europe, around 600 BCE. I'm literally dying here. Maybe another sacrifice to Asclepius might help. Varanasi, India, around 600 BCE. That's another nose surgery done. Please inform my students to get ready for the live training on treating horses. Yes, sir. Everyone applauds the dictator. You too, Brutus. Hungarians, when Matthias Corvinus centralizes, ignores the estates and fights the West, not the Turks. So cool. Hungarians, when a Habsburg king centralizes, ignores the estates and fights the West, not the Turks. How dare you? Getting war declared on you? Just say no. Other countries cannot legally declare war on you without your consent. King Pyrrhus dying of tile through his dead. I'm too weak. 50 cent after being shot 9 times. Facilito. Hello, Indians. Not what we're called. Extremely broken Arabic. Pan crick crack 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 crack. Crick crack. Crick crack. Pan 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 cling. Your husband, Henry VIII, calls you ugly. He doesn't behead you, and you get a good divorce settlement. School bus. D-Day landing craft. Takes you to a fun place. Rough ride with people throwing up and praying for their lives. Excessive gunfire at the destination. For Americans. Maybe it was unwise to fight for 700 years. Hawaii in the 1800s. Plant owners. Native workers. Cheap labor. A shitload of Asian immigrants. Cheap labor upgrade. Campaign 96. Boris Yeltsin. Is Russian chocolate worse than imported chocolate? And beer? I'm not even talking about vodka. Gennady Zyuganov. Christ was the new era's first communist. He would have joined us if he had been alive. Which message will resonate with voters? Soldiers in 1918 when they finally get to leave the gas-filled trenches only to catch the Spanish flu later. Guess I'll just go back to coughing. Some dude in 455 BC looking at the body of Aeschylus with a cracked skull laying next to a dead turtle. Point of view. You've been ordered to slay Minamoto no Yoshitsune, but a 7-foot-tall warrior monk with 7 weapons is blocking the bridge. You shall not pass. Nostalgic person? I wish we could go back to the good old days. Literally every historian. Romans after 800 exhausting years. Finally, it's done. Some Greeks after just 11 years. Nice warm-up, boys. Dr. Gay Hitler, renowned dentist and son of George Washington Hitler, waging total war on plaque during the 1940s in Ohio. Everyone can be redeemed. Hello, ma'am, welcome to the... It's crazy loud. Takes too long to load and not very accurate. Still, there goes one of the biggest game changers in the history of human warfare. World War II Enterprise coming home from another battle. What do you need, sir? I need guns, lots of guns. Horses after being instrumental for centuries in warfare and travel hearing that a dog is a man's best friend. Prostitutes during the Irish potato famine. This mother ducker. Ancient history enjoyers now. After 50 hours, I have finally restored the Roman Empire in CK2. Ancient history enjoyers then. British aristocrats. Greek independence fighters. In ancient Greek, let me not then die ingloriously and without a struggle, but let me first do some great thing that shall be told among men hereafter. Homer. What language is that? When you and your wife have 15 children, yet after 56 years of marriage you have only one legitimate grandchild who just died in childbirth. Wait a minute, how did this happen? We're smarter than this. Point of view. The religious debate just started, and you see the rabbi answering the retired knight that the Virgin Mary wasn't actually a virgin. Knight. Rabbi. Bonk. Hideyoshi arriving in Kyushu. Toyotomi Hideyoshi. What you got there? Portuguese. Japanese slaves. A Bible. Be me, Robert E. Lee. Order attack uphill. Heavily fortified. Libtard Longstreet tells me to not do it. Do it anyway. My face when they all die. Anons, did I mess up? Most breakaway nations' relationships with their original country. You are wretched traitors who deserve nothing less than death. No, you are a tyrannical empire that needs to be overthrown. King George III and John Adams. We hate France, do you? Yes. People discussing on whether Augustus, Trajan, or Aurelian was the best Roman emperor. Antoninus Pius, who managed to rule for 23 years and absolutely nothing happened. You have freed us from Spain. Oh, I wouldn't say freed, more like under new management. Locusta. What happened to her? Well, if you believe ancient historians, she was sexually assaulted by a specially trained giraffe before being torn to pieces by wild animals. Virginia. West Virginia needs to give us our land back. Federal government. Virginia. Aren't we forgetting one teensy-weensy but ever so crucial little tiny detail? I own you. The Soviet economy spends 21% of GNP on the military in 1985. Why is our economy a dumpster fire? PhD students have such boring lives. Indian-American sociology PhD student Sudhir Venkatesh getting to lead an armed gang in Chicago during the 90s as part of his academic research. Chinese rebellion, 1 gorillion dead. Boo, get better material. Yellow River flood, 4 pests campaign. These filthy Frenches don't know that the Normans conquered England, not France. SS Warimo shipmate on December 31, 1899. It's almost midnight, Captain. Happy New Year. SS Warimo Captain J.D. Phillips, yo, check this out. Equator International Dateline. This half of the meme has been censored for violating Rule 12. Leaders of World War II have some of their family members fighting in this war. Meanwhile, de Gaulle family during World War II. Xavier de Gaulle. Brother, fought in Italy with his son, François de Gaulle. Pierre de Gaulle, brother, in the Resistance. Philippe de Gaulle's son, fought in Normandy. Geneviève de Gaulle, niece, survived the Ravensbrück concentration camp. She was in the Resistance. Jacques de Gaulle, brother, in the Resistance. Marie-Agnes de Gaulle, sister, survived the Buchenwald concentration camp. Of course she was in the Resistance. Belisarius sending his Bath slave at the Persian army and watching him kill 2 of their champions in duels. General Kurebayashi, don't do banzai attacks. It's a waste of life. Japanese soldiers. No. People who believe Nazis were actual socialists because it's in the name when they find out about lying. King's armors. Beautiful smith work. Engraved battle scenes, every inch of body and face covered in metal. Colorful tabards. Kings in movies. Carthage after destroying the Roman navy, but they find another one looking for them after about 2 minutes. Please say psych. Modern archaeology. Look at this shit. Now we know how peasants 5,000 years ago lived. Biblical archaeology. This is where King David used to stand. Hindu kings. Why are you siding with the invading Arabs? They haven't even crossed the Indus River. We can still defend. Sindhi Buddhists. The West has fallen. A very short reign of the second king of Lithuania, 1918. Wilhelm, you just became a king of Lithuania, and you are called Mendog II now. What? Never mind, we just lost the war. What? When I'm in a being positively compared to what came after me, despite the fact that I cause a lot of it competition and my opponent is one of these guys. Seleucids. Pontus. What are you doing in Asia Minor? Gauls. Mind your own business. Sir, Archimedes refused to acknowledge Rome's victory. So I killed him. You what? When Romans ruled Egypt, they forbade Egyptian lawyers from accessing Alexandria's courts because they used to laugh at Roman judges and their poor verdicts, and make jokes and songs to defend political prisoners. Egyptians are twisted and bitter people with a sense of humor, said Roman poet Theocritus. You can't make a joke at court. British Empire. Do you have a flag? Locals? No, British Empire. Welcome to the crew. The hottest places in hell are reserved for those who, in times of great moral crisis, maintain their neutrality. Dante Alighieri. Switzerland. New dynasty starts. Everything goes well. The Yellow River floods for the 456th time and destroys all crops. Revolt. 69 million dead. 1300 BCE. We owe our prosperous way of life to international trade. What if that trade system collapsed? That would never happen. 1150 BCE. Duck. 150 AD. We owe our prosperous way of life to our glorious empire. What if that empire fell? That would never happen. 550 AD. Duck. Now. We owe our prosperous way of life to a globalized supply network. What if that network unraveled? That would never happen. Brunswick, after he heard that the French people attacked the Tuileries and caused multiple massacres, even though he warned them that he will burn Paris to the ground. Although they have seen many young geniuses throughout history. Alexander the Great conquered the world at 30. Ismail first became king of kings at 14. Mehmed the Conqueror took Constantinople at 21. Everyone takes things at their own pace. Genghis Khan did not begin conquering China until 844. So don't feel bad about your age, you can do it. Everybody rioting until the roof starts speaking Korean. Christians then. Time to enter intense combat with one of the most terrifying enemies the US has ever seen. I shall do so unarmed. I'll also save like 100 men by myself. Thou shalt not kill. Christians now. I will literally shit my pants if I go outside without a firearm. Hey guys, His Highness and Mightiness. Elective Majesty of the USA, not what I'm called. English people, when you tell them that their German ancestors were conquered by their French ancestors 1,000 years ago. Duck all philosophy except for whatever the hell Diogenes was trying to teach. In a rich man's house there is no place to spit but his face. Diogenes of Sinope. Some jerks decided to build this and now I have to learn 3 languages. So, Dad, there's this Carthaginian girl in class. Where you think a tradition started in? Where it really started. The Pakistani government trying to arrest writer Sadat Manto in the early 1950s for his gruesome and graphic violence stories about the 1947 partition of India. Manto publicly responding with, "If you think my works are ugly, that's because the society we live in is ugly." Having a country named after you. Having an entire historical era named after you. Having a salad named after you. I'm taking you to watch a man's back being split open and his lungs pulled out of his body. Some Scandinavian girl in the year 800 to 1000 AD. German military. German industry. German diplomacy. Source? It was revealed to me in a dream. Oh, Teddy, I'm glad the Secret Service is protecting you so. Hey, we'll see if they're faster than I am. Wait, what? Let's just say they aren't the only ones packing some heat. Frank Herbert getting rejected by every credible publisher. A company that specializes in car repair manuals thinking his story about giant worms and space drugs is kinda neat. 12-year-olds in 1776 trying to keep playing their piccolo on beat after watching their neighbor get blown in half by a cannonball. Nobody. Alexander the Great. Anyone who doesn't want to go to war is gay. Emperor Valerian asking for the treasure of the church. St. Laurent bringing him the poors, crippled, lames and rejected people of Rome. Learn of the prophecy that your city will only fall if you stay alive. Walk into enemy camp dressed as a common peasant. Provoke your enemies into killing you. Die. Your enemies run away in fear of imminent defeat. USSR losing tens of millions against the most genocidal onslaught in human history. I can do this all day. USSR trying to survive a period of economic stagnation and decline. No, I don't think I will. You like imperialism, don't you, America? Hitler trying to make sense of Costa Rica's declaration of war when they don't even have a standing army. People with Greek mythology, that's the weirdest shit I've ever heard. Egyptian mythology. Breastplate armor of Ferdinand, Holy Roman Emperor, 1549. Again, blood wasn't the only thing dripping on the battlefields. King Arthur in silly movies. Main enemies. Evil witch, his sister. Often depicted as cute young boy. Shiny full-plate armor, historically inaccurate. Hide the truth tainted by incest and adultery with a bright childish story. Only thing he achieved by himself is pulled a sword in the stone. King Arthur in real British legends. Battle-hardened Romano-British warlord. Goswit helmet with shiny jewels. Deep dark scale armor, historically accurate. Good at killing Saxons, but Saxons love him as a hero even in these days. Didn't involved in incest or adultery before the French nerds made their own fanfics about him. King? Arthur in Japan. A crazy girl who claims herself as a king of Britons. Man, situation in Balkans is tense. How tense? I hate titans. Turns into titan. I hate ghouls. Turns into ghoul. I hate vampires. Turns into vampire. I hate imperialists. Turns into imperialist. I redirected all your calls so you lose business. Oh yeah? I just made your entire industry obsolete. I'm not ashamed of my regime. International community. Exactly. That's the problem. You should be. Geneva Convention. So, there is a rule stating that we should not kill medics. One of our guys will pretend to be injured and call for medics in English, then we'll kill all of them when they arrive. A second cheese wheel was found in the White House. Spain, 16th century. I cannot stand those Muslim Moors living in my kingdom. I'll take a boat and explore the other side of the world, just to be rid of them. Salam alaikum. Alaikum salam. After a year of travel. Kao kono es eso? Salam alaikum. Alaikum salam. Hey, piece of cake. United States. Japan at Pearl Harbor. The internet loves to mock Australia for losing a war against emus. Let's mock this country for losing a war against an inanimate object. What is he doing up there, huh? No, he ruin it. Don't let him escape. He fix it. When you realize that the greatest theory of this guy is him saying on everyone's soul we all wanted to do this. Nobody. Europe in the 1800s. It's time for Africa. When you realize that the Epic of Gilgamesh, the oldest story written and known to man, begins with in those days. International community. North Vietnam defeating the Khmer Rouge. They propped up Khmer Rouge initially. Is your child texting about the Napoleonic Wars? What your early 19th century obsessed teens texts really mean. LOL is love our lancers. OMG is oh murd grenadiers. WTF is watch the flanks. LMAO is lighting Moscow aflame or hon 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 hon. STFU is support the French utopia. ROFL is riding out for LaSalle. IDK is I despise Kaiserlichs Austrians. FTW is forward to Waterloo. VLE is Vive I Emperor. Know the warning signs. Sack of Jerusalem. Jerusalem's Christian minority. Crusaders. IBM's Deep Blue becoming the first computer to defeat a human, chess grandmaster Garry Kasparov, in a game of chess. A bug in its software that contributed to its victory. Your life becomes so much better when you remove all the negative people from it. Secretary General Pol Pot. Random time in history was better than today. My brother in Christ, you say this because you think of the rich people who lived in that age. Poor people lived horribly. Here Poseidon, the fairest bull of the herd. What is this? I ordered the large bull with fries. Thanks for nothing, King Minos. I swear he is yours. Boarding school in Crete it is. Simo Haya after watching his friend get their head shot cause they raised their head using a scope. Noted. Jewish mother duckers from 1941 be like, you got a star. Students. European history is so complex. European history. France, England. How most Christian empires spread their religion. How Byzantines and Poland spread their religion. You need to be Christian for us to have Shreks. Yes, honey. What do you think us Vikings will be most remembered for? Our personal hygiene, of course. Oh, I was hoping it would be all of the killing. You are very invested in killing, I'll give you that. Russian gold reserves. Look inside. Stolen by Czechoslovak Legion. Your faces when someone says the best empire was the British Empire. You wish to be in the Roman Empire? Then prove your loyalty and partake in the public butt sponge. I bet he's thinking about other women. What if Operation Barbarossa never happened? If quote ascribed to historical character is about success, friendship and other shit, it probably does not belong to that historical character. Builds first indoor toilet. Reaction from people when they learn that you shit indoors.